All right, the big, beautiful bill has passed. And yes, it did get passed on July 4th, which Donald Trump was hoping to do. I'm going to leave you a quick summary of exactly what this bill, how it affects you. And it got a narrow passing of J.D. Vance, literally a 51-50 vote. And of course, here it is, the big, beautiful bill, all 950 some odd pages of it. I'm going to give you a quick summary of as fast as I can so you know exactly what this is, how does it affect you. What is it going to do? Is it going to put more money in your pocket? Is it going to take more money out? And what does this do for the future of our children, right? Like what's going to happen? So what's actually in the bill? Let's go quickly. What's in it? It extends the biggest thing of everything was going to happen at the end of this year. He was going to expire our tax cuts from 2017 when Trump passed and lowered all the tax rates on everybody. So it's going to permanently extend this into the future of like extending his 20 tax cuts all the way into the sort of foreseeable future. There's new tax breaks, though. There's no tax on tips, and we'll go through exactly what that looks like. There's no tax on overtime. Again, he's trying to put more money in the middle class, and it raises the state and local tax deduction cap. So it's going to give less money from the federal money to the state and local taxes, which is, I think, also a benefit. It's not a benefit for those states that feed a lot of those people that are in the lower class. We'll go through that more. But I love this one. It adds senior deductions. You also get $6,000 deductions for 65 plus. So there's deductions for those boomers that are all retiring or are at that age. So I think it could be a really good benefit for them. A lot of people are on fixed incomes, and with the rising food cost, inflationary things, this will be a really good benefit for our seniors. The child tax credits are another one, and we'll go through it in depth, but there's also a MEGA, M-A-G-A, of course, savings account for newborns. So they can start investing right out of the gate. And I think anyone that can start investing, putting their money to work, maybe has a chance to beat inflation. Maybe can get around this and start getting themselves prepared by the time they're 18, maybe need to go to college or buy a home, whatever it is. And so we do like that. So let's go into what's the spending, what are the cuts? There's a lot of opinions here, right? I'm going to be somewhere in the middle on this, probably lean right a little bit. I do like what Trump's doing. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just listening to this to see what's my side of the story versus I also listen to the left side of the story. But it's good to hear both sides, I think. And there's huge funding boosts for the ICE, right? And I know this is, border protection. You got detention. You got 10K or 10,000 new agents that are coming to work the border. Then we're going to spend another $100 billion through 2029. So a lot of people have a lot of problems with this. Trying to get the illegal immigrants out of the ones that are creating havoc out of here, and trying to protect that new ones come in legally. And, maybe they can buy our $5 million golden ticket, and people are buying those. So those will help raise income for our government. But also on defense, we're spending another $150 billion. This is an increase of what we already had in place. And a lot of this is increasing our securities, increasing our defense. A lot of other countries rely on us and help fund us on gaining our protection, an ally. I think Iran had like 600 and some planes. And then I think the second biggest had like 2,000-ish. And then America was like 4,600 military, like fighter jets, bomber plane, you name it, military planes protecting us. And so that costs a lot of money to have that kind of protection. But as an American, you can definitely feel that your country is safe. You feel like anyone sends anyone over here, we have very good protection. And that's a lot of where that comes from. So we're spending money in the right ways on defense, and you can add your opinion below on what you think the ICE is doing and see if that really adopts to what you think should be happening in this nation. But what's getting cut? Well, you got a lot of Medicaid, meaning, the lower class that gets insurance because they don't make enough, and SNAP, which also known as food stamps. There's stricter laws now. You have to be, if you're an able working body, anything over, the age got extended from 49 to 54. So 18 to 54. Now, if you're an able working person, you do not get benefits like you would if you are an able working body. So there's just stricter things around handouts, I think, is what he's trying to get after. And he's also wants to restrict, the illegals coming in, getting social security cards, getting driver's license, getting free insurance, and all these free things to come into the country to work, or if they could be criminals, right? And I know that's what they're after, getting out of our country. So, and then of course, good old Elon Musk doesn't like the clean energy credit cuts, and that's happening. There's just a lot of handouts he feels on that, and he wanted to cut a lot of that. He felt like he could help support other ways, and I think he did. There's also another thing in the bill: if you're buying an American car, which also helps Elon because he has Teslas made in America. He has, if you finance, and this could be a personal vehicle, you get to write off about $10,000 in interest per year. So that's also in the bill. That should help support if you are financing it. Hey, you do actually get to write off the interest. You don't have to have a business to even write it off. So you can dig into that a little bit more. But what's the budget in debt? I think that's the biggest thing. Well, how are we going to control this $34 trillion in debt? Well, you need to control it by, not raising it, right? You got to have a balanced budget. Well, I think we're so lopsided right now. We're getting back there with things like Doge, right? And we're trying to trim the fat and try to trim the things. But anytime a new political party gets in there, they don't want to just cut everything, right? Like, I think if Elon got to be president, he would just literally try to start over. I would imagine there's a lot of problems within that. And I'm not going to go out to try to figure out the U.S. government, but we're going to add $3.3 trillion to the deficit with the new bill, the big, beautiful bill over the next 10 years. So, that's something that's going to happen. And what Trump is going on in the White House is it's claiming we're going to increase the GDP growth in America. So we're going to outgrow our debt. So we're not adding 10 trillion in debt, right? We weren't on this path that we've been on, but we're trying to slow. I think by adding to it, they realize that we need to add growth to America, add GDP growth, get manufacturing back to America, help support anything American. And he believes that we can increase the GDP to outgrow this deficit that we're in with the debt. So again, Elon's going to beat him up. Anyone's going to beat him up over that. I get that. And it's understandable. But this is how he plans to do it within the big, beautiful bill, is just outgrow the debt that we're taking on. And so, what's the public's reaction? What kind of controversies are we facing? What needs to happen? Well, I think you got Elon Musk saying it's the biggest debt, increase in history. So yes, he's not wrong. He's like, why did we even do Doge to save 160 billion and put all that sweat into that when we're adding 3.3 trillion? He's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. But in context, he wants to open up a third party. And he has the money, he has the social medias and the awareness to probably do so. But even if the Republicans own the House right now, they obviously can get anything passed that they want to, but J.D. Vance won this thing basically for us, was the deciding vote, and meaning Republicans didn't all go for it. And if you just had 3 or 4 seats within the House that were not Democrat or Republican, and I think Elon could pull that off, it really is going to be interesting, because a lot of these swing votes could go in the favor of that third party and put a lot of power in their hands. So, that's something that's happening in the background. People over 50% believe that maybe ICE has gone too far in the deportations and the border walls and spending money on security, the 10,000 new agents coming aboard. But it's really 50-50. I mean, it's right in the middle. And I think it probably always will be, depending upon if you're voting left, you're voting right, whatever it is. Also another thing, cuts to the Medicaid and the SNAP is going to affect 11 million Americans. Now, if 9 million of those Americans are illegals and the people that shouldn't be getting benefits for free coming into the country that are, criminals, they can be deported. I don't care to benefit them, right? It's anyone's metric to say how many of those people are like that. We don't want them to just walk into America, get free handouts like insurance, a social security card, and a driver's license overnight, because us as Americans, we work to have that, right? And we work to have, you don't just get a clean record in America because you're not a criminal. So they're really going after the social security numbers that aren't real or were just handed out. They're going after, the people that are here illegally. And if they're here illegally, they should get sent back to their country. And I know we're never going to get all of that done, but we're not going to help support them within Medicaid or food stamps, SNAP either. But all right, who gets in, who's winning, who's losing in this? All right, so the winners, you have the seniors. They're getting tax breaks. This doesn't happen all the time, but of course, if Medicare runs out and Medicaid, these are very expensive things for our country to support. Senior tax relief is good. They're on controlled fixed incomes, rising increased inflationary costs like food and shelter, whatever it is. It's outgrowing what they had planned, right? They had 2 to 3% inflation planned. Well, geez, we might be in 12% still today. We don't know. But things are rising in price. And so seniors get a big one. The middle income, we're trying to get them with the tips and overtime. So what is that really? So from 25 to 28, so this year on into 28, if you're getting tips, these are the service workers of the country, right? Like there's people servicing these 10,000 baby boomers that are retiring each year. They get a $25K a year tax break up to $150,000. Then it phases out, but they get a tax break on that 25 grand. That's a lot more income in their pocket, because typically tips, overtime, that just raises your tax basis, right? So this actually lowers their tax basis. They get to reduce, and then it phases out. It doesn't completely go away, but it does phase out. And the same on cap on overtime. And so you get $12,500 you get to keep in your pocket. I have concrete workers and a construction company. So I have people that work overtime all the time, especially if you're seasonal. We're in North Dakota, we're pouring concrete. These guys will actually get to save the $12,500. Usually when you work overtime too, they tax, I feel like when you're on a W-2 paycheck, they tax every living piss out of you. So it's like, it's nice to see that they're going after that. That's going to put more money in the middle class, up to $150,000, and then it phases out, but it's going to put more money in the middle class. Those are the people spending money. Those are the service workers, the construction workers, all those middle class people that are working get more money in their pocket, which is awesome to see. And even, like I live in North Dakota again, Burgum was our governor until now. He's, sitting on the cabinet. But he wanted to get rid of property taxes, and which everyone thought is crazy. Could you imagine if property taxes went away? And now Trump has mentioned, like, what happens if we got rid of all the property taxes in this country? Now, who is it going to affect? The state and local tax, right? Like your states are going to be the ones in control of that. But what happens if we did get rid of property taxes? Well, we voted it down. It was it's a shock, right? Like, I don't even know. But what happens if you had limited scenarios where you get 50% of your tax, or, we don't reduce it all, but reduce most of it? That helps, and so just something to think about, that they're mentioning this, and you could see this in the future probably play a big role to help real estate, housing booms, help people afford homes, right? Like that's such an affordable way of living right now, is even buying a home. People can't understand it. They're paying more in rent because they're paying a lot more in property tax. I think about places like Texas with huge property tax. This could affect them dramatically. But another winner was the large corporations, the wealthy earners, especially, the pass-through corporation businesses. They're going to get tax cuts. And I think he's trying to create jobs, especially if they're creating things in America. They will get tax breaks, and they're going to hopefully bring more jobs to America. That is the belief of why they put this in the bill. They want to get the GDP raised in America. They need to help support it. The farmers get small businesses, and, I'm in North Dakota. I can see why farmers should get a benefit, and they're going to end up getting an estate tax relief, and they get some business expenses more written off. So they're supporting the local farmers. There's farmers all over the Midwest, all over this country, I should say, but really localized a lot in the Midwest, and it's going to help support our economy up here. So But the biggest losers, again, you got Medicaid, SNAP, otherwise known as food stamps. People are, if they're illegally collecting it, they're going to fail to meet, they got to work. And if you're able to work, the age limit did increase. So you're going to be losing some benefits. Those who rely on public insurance, there's about 11 million Americans that are going to maybe lose their insurance. Or if they don't have their Social Security, they're not here legally, you're going to lose your benefits. And I think you should, in my opinion. Future taxpayers, this is the biggest burden. We're adding more debt, right? If we don't grow this country, the future taxpayers are going to have to pay for this. That means your kids and myself included. I'm only 37. It's going to cost me more in the future. What does this really mean for you? I think you just got to understand, where are you? If you're on the very top, some of this bill helps you, right? Like, it's going to help the corporations save more money on taxes. If you're in the middle class, it's going to put more money in your pocket, trying to reduce taxes again. If you're in the lower class and you're here illegally and you're an able working body, you're going to lose some benefits that you were collecting. They call them handouts, they call them whatever. And if you are able working body, you should not get full benefits. There are going to be stricter rules around it, right? They're just rules were so loose that we were just handing everybody this, that would even come into the country illegally, and you're paying for it as a taxpayer. So reducing this, maybe you'll help. Medicaid is for the poor, Medicare is for the old people. So Medicare hopefully help extend some of that, right? And these are very expensive insurance for our country. We pay millions or trillions of dollars, I should say, on what this is going to cost. So, guys, I think if you want to, this is your quick summary. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, follow for more, share it with somebody. But this is my summary. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.